Real talk, raw truth, raging hearts. Welcome to From the Minds of Raging Brats. Like, share, and subscribe.
Hi, welcome to From the Minds of Raging Brats. I'm Heather.
And I'm Ashley.
How's your week?
It's been a week. It's going as good as it possibly can, I feel. Which doesn't mean it's amazing, but it's going. How are you doing?
I feel that sentiment. This week it's been pretty decent. Like it's been moving along steadily. I'm slowly coming out of my full shutdown overwhelm, where my therapist had to like remind me that even though I was like overwhelmed, shut down, I was still cleaning house, taking care of grandbabies, taking care of my kid, laundry. She's like, so you're pretty damn productive for somebody that was overwhelmed and shut down. I'm like, well, you're right. I'm not, but I feel like I need to be getting other things that I have priorities on my plate done, and I can't seem to budge in those directions. It's like, I feel like on my priorities I have writer's block where I'm just stuck in this spot where I don't know how to move forward.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit frustrating. And I'm definitely very trepidatious about losing one of my therapists. But I have a plan, and I'm going to be not having a lapse in therapists because the new therapist that I'm getting is going to be coming into my next session, which is my last session with my therapist. So they're both gonna do the mental health assessment that you have to do yearly with me, to update it, and then the following session I'll just go right into with the new therapist. But like I told my therapist, I'm still a little bit trepidatious because I don't know her. I don't know how her style is gonna be, if we're gonna mesh or not. And on top of that, like I have a pretty stable setup right now where I have EMDR on Monday to start my week fresh, where I'm kind of processing through the week, and then Friday is my therapy, my regular therapy, where I kind of unload everything that's happened through the week, and then I get my weekend with a clear head and for podcasting and whatnot. So, the BPD in me is screaming that they're going to mess up my routine and it's going to throw me into a spiral. But I feel stable enough to where it's a screaming voice in my head, not anxiety in my whole body.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I'm glad that they've worked out a transition plan for you instead of just dropping you with somebody new out of nowhere.
Yeah, that would have freaked me out. I'm also glad I don't have to wait 6 weeks for a new therapist like last time.
Yeah.
That was also a big fear of mine.
Understandable.
And I don't know. I'm having dreams about moving. It's really, I think that's part of why I'm overwhelmed, because I'm so anxious to leave, but there's so many things that are still in the way to leaving.
Yeah.
And I want everything to be, all the obstacles to be out of the way and just go.
That would be nice.
And along those lines is how I ended up on the topic that we have for this week, because I was talking about nostalgia and things and different generations. I was just kind of brainstorming on that thought of moving forward, but because like the homesteading, going back to basics, and like taking things back to before I feel like the generations kind of threw chaos into the monkey machine.
Yeah.
And I know that's not fair to say, like, just I'm making a blanket generalization, but like I'm not specifically attacking any one generation. Like we've all had our share of bullshit that we put in the chaos machine, but um certain things, like I was talking to my therapist about my resilience, and I was like, after I'd been doing some like not research, but just kind of like watching some Gen X stuff, and it was about movies from our childhood, and like all the kids movies that taught us about death and stuff before we were even in preschool, like Bambi and Watership Down and The Never Ending Story and Land Before Time. All these movies, it was brutal and it wasn't hidden, and often it was even graphic. um and I'm like, I think that just my generation as a whole, yes, I specifically have some things that made me more resilient. I'm like, but I think that also my generation as a whole, we just had resiliency built into us unintentionally. I'm like, and we were talking about it. She's like, yeah, well, and that's how I kind of ended up going down this rabbit hole of like, it's not about the thing, it's about the expectation. Because there's been this like pattern that I keep noticing, like especially this specifically, we're going to be directing more towards like movies, um, the cinematic genres, but across all of it, in remakes, reboots, streaming releases, even stuff like concerts now being shown in theaters, people aren't just reacting to the content anymore. They're reacting to something that's deeper. And I think that's the same thing where I was just talking about with the generations. We're feeling a loss of something deeper than just the generational divide, but like things that came before the internet even. But what people are looking for is whether an experience feels like a substitute or a transformation, because those aren't the same thing. Um, Even if a lot of companies pretend like they are right now, it's just not. And I started with the example when I was talking through this. I started with the example of the Alice in Wonderland that came out like 15 years ago or whatever, the Tim Burton
Yeah.
version. Okay, it was advertised as a remake of Alice in Wonderland,
Yeah.
live action. And I was so excited about it because Alice in Wonderland is like my thing forever, forever and a day. Um, and so I was so excited, and it was coming out live action 3D on my birthday.
That is
I was so stoked. And I went to see it, and through most of the movie, I was so lost and confused because it might have been similar to Alice in Wonderland, but none of it was close enough to be even like where you were like, okay, this, no, it was so off. And then you get to like the last quarter of the movie, and she said they're talking to her about when she came before, and you realize that this is not a remake, it's a continuation of her later years. And I'm like, I was so mad because if you had just told me that, I could have enjoyed the movie from the get-go as a continuation. I wouldn't have been lost. I would have enjoyed it. But because I had the expectation of coming to watch Alice in Wonderland as a live action version, a remade version in live action, I didn't understand that we were coming in like 20 years or 10, 20 years later. I didn't understand that. So I was just lost. And so were most of the people in the theater. And then everybody was like you literally heard a collective, oh, when everybody realized that it was a leap forward in time. And we're like, come on, people, all you got to do is be honest.
Hey, just tell us.
And I get that, like, they want to capitalize on the fame of the original, but like,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think people for a long time have basically been saying, like, get your own movies, your own TV shows, like, leave ours alone. Stop remaking them. Stop, like, fucking them up, basically. And
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
not all of them are fuck up. Some of them are great in and of themselves, but they are not the original.
Well, and like, for example, Dune remake. It was a remake of the original Dune. It was supposed to be the same storyline. And the storyline was similar. Apparently, it was closer to the book, which I'm fine with. But what they did that destroyed it was they changed the character dynamics.
Yeah.
Because Dune was more of, everybody behaved more of like military persona. Even Jessica, the mom, she was very strategic and lethal. And it wasn't that she wasn't afraid or anything. You would hear the fear in the inner dialogue, because like throughout the movie, the inner dialogues were narrated in the original. So you would hear the fear in her inner dialogue, but it never presented outwardly. She was always strategically on the move, the next step, the next thing forward. And when they remade it, they made her show her fear at every step instead of it being an internal dialogue, and it made her weak. It made her appear as weak. It made her expendable. Where in the original, you can't imagine that movie without her. She maneuvered so many pieces.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And protected her kids so strategically that when they redid the characters in the remake and made them outwardly vulnerable and showing all of their emotions outwardly, it really changed the character dynamics, and the movie is not the same. Had they kept the character dynamics the same, the way they redid the movie with the newer graphics and all that, it would have been masterpiece upgraded. Instead, they took a masterpiece and downgraded it to just another movie.
Yeah. And unfortunately, that seems to be the case a lot of the time when they try to remake or reboot these.
Yeah. And honestly, it's not that I'm opposed, because I'm not opposed to remakes, but I am opposed to saying it's a remake when it's a reinvention. If it's a reinvention, say it's a reinvention. If it's continuation, say it's a continuation. But don't tell me it's a remake and then change the fundamentals.
Yeah.
Like, and because like chat was arguing with me, but like sometimes when you're remaking something in order to upgrade the special effects and stuff, you have to tweak the storyline a little bit. I'm like, I get that, but you don't tweak the fundamentals, and you don't tweak the character dynamics that are the foundation of the movie.
Yeah.
As long as you keep it in the same dynamics and the same fundamentals, even if you tweak things, you're gonna still make a better movie instead of fucking up something that people adore.
Very true.
And I kind of got on that because I really would like to see them remake The Neverending Story, which apparently they're going to be, because the rights are up for sale again for the first time since they were originally made. But for me, I was like, you have to keep the original themes and just upgrade the special effects. Because those movies where fantastical, it's like The Nothing. If they created The Nothing now with CGI, imagine.
Yeah. That would be.
Instead of this wolf, just this fucking darkness with fucking glowing eyes that just devours everything.
Mhm.
So badass.
Yeah, that would look
But
pretty. Mm.
but they need to keep the fundamentals. They need to work with as much of the original cast as possible. And I'm not saying put the original cast back in. I'm saying work with, so that they can work with the actors that portrayed their characters, that are portraying the rebooted character, so they get the emotional feeling, so they can work that same feeling that the original actor had, not that so they can be the same actor.
Yeah. Yeah. See, and I personally, I'm against remakes. I really am. Because half the time I'm sitting there, I'm like, that's wrong. You're wrong. You're doing it badly. Like, why did you do this? This was a great movie.
I honestly, I'm excited to see what they do with the Labyrinth, because again, one of my favorite childhood movies. But as awesome as Jim Henson was, those trolls could have been all redone way better.
Yeah.
The troll village could have been way better. A lot of the special effects where they like transition things, where they had mirror effects to do it, they could do those so much better. Like, I would be over the moon to see a remake of The Labyrinth while the original actors are still alive, that again, they can influence how it is done. It's like, I don't know, do you watch Grimm?
Sometimes.
Okay, so most of the people that are diehard Grimm fans have been begging for a reboot of that series or a continuation forever, and they pretty much said no. But now Peacock is in the making of what they're going to do is pick up where they left off at the end of the series, with the kids now adults being hunters.
Yeah.
And they're making a movie. And if the movie is successful, then they will continue a new series moving on with Diana, Kelly, and the triplets from Monroe and Rosalie.
Yeah. Nice.
And I'm so excited because all the original actors are working with them, and the new writer is working with the original co-creators that wrote and directed it, and the original co-creators are the executive producers. So it's going to be along the lines of the original. It's not going to be some whack job reinterpretation.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I want to see from films, but that's because I feel like it's not just about integrity of the movie, the original movie, but I feel like it's a respect towards the original masterpiece that it was.
Yeah. Yeah. It is always nice when they can do something like that.
Especially because a lot of old films are being lost just to time.
Yeah.
And so if we've lost so many from films from long ago, why not, as our films are getting older into the 50, 60 years where they start to degrade, if the actors are still around, let's remake it. Let's use some new actors, but working with the old ones. Let's respect the original integrity of the project while also giving it back to a new generation.
That's true.
But not everybody feels that way. I am sure that there are people that love to see old movies reimagined, and I'm not opposed to that. But just, if you're going to reimagine it, tell me it's a reimagination.
Yeah. Yeah, at the very least, at least be honest about what it is that you're doing.
It's like, I don't know if you know this, but I know a lot of diehard Harry Potter fans are split right down the middle with the fact that they're making Harry Potter a series now.
Yes, I know. And I myself am split right down the middle.
Some people are like, yes, I've been waiting for this. And other people are like, she already did it in movie form. Why do we need a series? If it's not continuing off where it ended off, why? Why are we remaking any of this? I don't care.
See, I know in order to get every single detail that Harry Potter ever had, you have to have a series. You have to. It is too packed with detail not to. But I am also, those aren't the original actors because they can't be. They're not fucking children anymore. Like, there's a lot of the original actors are dead, but still, to me, I'm like, it feels wrong. Like, and I know they're gonna change some shit, which will piss me off because the whole point of having a series was so that we could get every single detail out of the book, not new ones that they wanted to fucking throw in there.
They will
But
do
I'm still
both.
gonna watch it.
They will do
And
both.
yeah.
See, and here's the part where it's a little bit weird for me because Lord of the Rings, that movie series, and I forget which one. I think it's Fellowship of the Rings, but I'm not sure which one. Where Merry and Pippin go into the pub and they
Yeah.
get a pint of beer, and they're like, and they're looking at this giant beer like, oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
That is not in the book
Oh.
at all. They're actually, where that scene comes in, there is a whole other part in the book that they would actually need an entire movie for, in and of itself.
Damn.
But if you were to take that scene out of the movie, even if you were to create the part that they left out of the book, you were to take that scene out of the movie, it would destroy that movie because it was such a foundational part of that movie. There are people that have only once seen Lord of the Rings and weren't really interested, still remember that scene.
Yeah.
Because it was so cute and iconic.
That
So
is very true.
So I do understand some creative reimagining and stuff, but like it needs to flow with that. Because like I said, even if they were to recreate it later and split it into like 3 parts, that movie, and put the part in that they took out of the book,
Yeah.
they wouldn't want to take that part out still
Yeah.
because it was such a foundational part.
And I do agree that a lot of movies have those parts. It's just, for me, like, growing like with at least Harry Potter, I'm fucking obsessed with Harry Potter. Like, since there was books, I've been reading them. Like, I watched all the movies in the theaters. Like, so it is one of those things that I have a very like death grip on that nostalgia. Like, whereas other things, I'm like, okay, I get it. I do. I get the need for adaptation and change, but. And I'm sure that there's a lot of other people like that with their fandoms. They're like, yeah, make changes to anything else, not this.
Well, it's like the live action Lilo and Stitch. Jumbo. For
Yeah.
me, it wasn't. For me, it didn't hit as bad as it did for my cousin. But my cousin, she hated the live action because Jumbo was this deep voice, like you knew in the anime, in the animated one, like it was probably some deep Southern black man because that was the voice that he had.
Yeah.
In the live action, they had Zach Galifianakis as the voice.
Yeah, I see why that would piss her off.
And she was like, no, where's the bass? Where is the damn bass? That's not Jumbo.
That's great.
And I feel that, like, that each of us like has different things that we like about our foundational movies, our core memory movies, but like another example of a terrible remake that lots of people loved, to me was terrible, was Pet Sematary.
No.
They could never they didn't get the undead soul of the original in the remake. It just wasn't there. The creepiness of the kid the actor they chose was nowhere near as creepy as the original actor.
Mm.
Like,
Yeah.
also, laws today prevent them from doing some of the things that they did in that filming originally.
A lot of those old films, yeah. Mm.
So some things they just can't recreate, but like, you know, some movies, like, I'm glad that they've never remade Old Yeller. It was a great movie. Don't
Oh,
need it again.
no, ever. Yeah. It's like where the red fern grows. Fuck that. Mm. Never need to see that shit again.
Just traumatic childhood movies that were unnecessary.
What was it? That fucking movie where all the animals are trying to get home and they have an adventure to get home. I can't remember the name of it. But
Milo and Otis?
yes, that one. I don't like that movie anymore as an adult. Like, but as a kid, I loved it. I was like, this is adorable. This is great. As an adult, I'm like, so many animals died.
You're like, how could you abandon your pet in the woods? They do not find their way home like that, jackass.
I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You get lost, you abandoned them, you prick.
So many dog movies of dogs getting abandoned in the wild and finding their way home or to a new home. What during our childhoods, like, were there any responsible pet owners during my generation? What's happening?
Yeah, no, and they were trying to teach kids that it was fine. Like, here, go ahead, do it. They'll find their way home.
No. Stop that. Do not teach. Man. I just, man. Wow. Oh. But I honestly, I think the weirdest part of nostalgia when it comes to like movies and stuff is the whole where we have already covered, but the Mandela effect on stuff like the movie Shazam that I remember as a kid, but now it's not. And it was with Sinbad, and everybody swears that it was not. And I'm like, I watched the damn movie so many times. It was.
There's no way I hallucinated it that often.
Like, I know that a lot of people think that, like, if you're one race, you think you can't tell the difference between other races, but I can. I can tell the difference. Just because you're white doesn't mean I think you look like me. And just because you're black or brown doesn't mean I think you look like every black or brown people. I know the difference.
Yes.
I just, man. But I tell you what, a lot of the movies that we have now do not come with the life lessons, like the underneath meanings that they were specifically made for when we were growing up. Like, movies were meant to teach you life lessons in one of the least harshest way possibles, where you could experience it but also not truly experience it. And I think that actually was a benefit for my generation, older generations, millennials that came after me. I won't say Gen Alpha, Gen Z, or any of that, but millennials, a lot of them still have a lot of the same traits as Gen X, because even if they didn't grow up in that generation, a lot of them had older brothers and sisters or cousins that were Gen X, that they were still kicking it with, and their parents were still locking them out of the house at sunrise and telling them to come back when the street lights are on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was one of those millennials. I try to explain to Gen Alpha and Gen Z stuff like that. They're like, what? Why didn't you call the cops? Because
Well,
they beat you.
well, and I don't know how accurate it is because I don't engage a lot with a lot of people these days, like out in public, just because of my anxiety. But like I was recently told that we've pretty much messed things up to where Gen Z is like what they say, shaking in the closet into their vape because they have a job in their first job interview. Meanwhile, Gen Alpha is so right wing Christian, almost piling to
Yeah.
the opposite extreme. We
Yeah.
were like, can we just go back to maybe a little bit of Gen X millennial blend back there? And
No, all the Gen X and the millennials are like, nah, y'all wanted to control so damn bad. Take it.
yeah, I think a lot of us Gen Xers are starting to look at the world and go, we might have to step back in. We might have to get noticed again because otherwise we might not survive as a planet.
Maybe. Who knows?
But then there's those of us like me that are just like, no, I'm gonna go homestead and be off grid, and then the world can burn around me because I got my own my own safety hole. I'm a nut job sometimes. Anyways, and then moving on is talking about, since we're on movies and reboots, remakes, reimaginations, theater box office tickets have gone way down with streaming service, and uh being able to stream a new movie at the same time it's in the theater for like 20-25 bucks, when a cost of a ticket is 20-25 bucks for one person. A lot of people are choosing that unless it's an experience they can't get elsewhere.
Yeah.
And I think that's why theaters are really having to step up their game. But with that comes cost that if you aren't selling tickets, don't cover. And I think that's why they're starting to do like the 3D concert experience and stuff. Like, we watched the preview that they're going to
Yeah.
be having like a Billie Eilish one this year. But I think they forget that unless you don't live near a big city where they could tour to, or you are too broke to ever go to a concert, the idea of paying $20-$30 to sit in a 3D theater and watch a pre-recorded concert
No.
is
There's not
not
going to
it.
be much people interested in it.
Yeah. I mean, granted, for people that are like rural in the middle of nowhere or can't afford more than a movie ticket, that's great. It gives you at least some kind of experience. But the thing is that most people are forgetting about concerts. It's not just about going to see your artist, because oftentimes people are disappointed by their artists when they go and see them live because they don't have the auto tune and all the perfect things where they've recorded it to perfection. They hear their normal voice where there's mistakes and errors and forgetting lyrics because they're rocking with the crowd and things like that. A lot of people get disappointed by their artist, but what they don't get disappointed is in the energy and the vibe with the crowd, everybody that's fan of the same artist, and you're there and you're pumped, and that's a whole different experience.
Yeah, I do definitely agree with that.
And go ahead.
Like, for me, like, I love going to concerts. I love live music. Like, I love being around the crowd and feeling the energy there. But I am also somebody that I would rather watch a movie at home. I don't want to be around fucking people when I watch a movie. Like, I want to say what I want to say. Like, I want to be able to pause it and go to the bathroom.
It depends for me. It's like, for the most part, yes, but like movies like Avatar, no.
Yes,
No, I absolutely. Huh?
There are a select few that I'm like, okay, I'm gonna see that in theater.
Yeah, I was like, absolutely not. Yes, I'm gonna see it at home too. When it comes on Disney, I'm gonna watch it there too. But I need to see it in theaters. I need the 3D. I need the D-Box. I need all the things. I need the crowd telling me to shh. Don't care. I'm here for fun.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And honestly, when we were in that movie, you and I were loud as fuck and nobody said anything. In fact, everybody else around us was just as loud, cheering and making sounds, and everybody was excited. And I loved that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That was
Granted,
nice.
yeah. Granted, sometimes we go to movies and people are douchebags, but hey, it never stops us.
No.
But I think what I was getting at is that they've taken so many of those experiences out of life today where we used to have like major concerts all the time at the expo that were cheap.
Yeah.
Like it was just like a $20 or $30 ticket for the pavilion. And yeah, it was grass seating, but nobody gave a shit. You were seeing an artist and it was loud and you were with the crowd. And there is nothing quite like being at a live concert surrounded by people because nobody's judging you. Nobody's looking at you like, why are you here? What everybody is like so pumped for the same damn thing.
Yeah. I do have to agree.
And honestly, those experiences don't bring me any social anxiety, which is so weird because when you think about the massive amount of crowds and how anxious I get in even small crowds, but it's the energy. It's like that energy keeps the feel good for everybody. You feel safe, you feel included. So why would you be anxious?
That is very true. Mm.
I hope that for theater's sakes, they do figure out a hybrid version that keeps people involved because, like, after losing drive-throughs, I can't imagine losing theaters too.
No, no. As much as I don't go there very often, when I do choose to go there, like, I really do enjoy them. I would be very sad if it wasn't ever an option.
Yeah, I feel that way all the time after COVID when they closed all the skating rinks. Like, I miss roller skating so bad. And everybody's like, why don't you go ice skating? I am not putting my behind on two knives and putting my ass on ice. Nope.
Mm-mm.
I will take 4 wheels on each foot and hit the smooth top, but I'm not putting myself on 2 blades and hoping I don't chop a limb off.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-mm. Not a fan. Not a fan at all. Oh, and I hate the cold, so no.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Cold intolerance is not my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but I think that like the main reason why productions lose a lot of money on productions that otherwise could have been box office smashes is because they miss it. They misrepresent whether it's a reimagination or a remake, or they try a remake but they change fundamentals and it screws everything.
Yeah. And I think that's part of it. And I also think that people, like, that's just not what they want to spend their money on right now. They will wait for it to come out and stream it at home. They will just not watch it if that's what they don't want to watch. Like, everything is so expensive right now, and there's not a lot of people that are going to spend 3 to 4 hours of their wages to go out and watch a movie.
Yeah, I mean it's really people are very picky with their entertainment these days because they're like I said, they're looking for an experience. They're not just looking for entertainment. They're looking for an experience, something that's the memory is going to go with them forward into their life, even if the money doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it has to be worth it to them.
Um, I hope that as we progress through time, people will speak up more, and the entertainment industry will start to narrow in on the experience rather than the budget, so to speak. And I say that because that tends to be the main objection over and over again. Well, the budget, but there's many ways to do things, as you and I know, having lived in poverty. There's many things you can do without a lot of money that can make some amazing shit. So saying it's the budget means you're not willing to put in the effort to find a solution.
Very true.
Well, I think that for this week, that's probably about a wrap. I know that this wasn't our normal mental health topics, but nostalgia and life experiences are a good cornerstone for good mental health. So
Very
it
true.
may not have been a mental health topic, but it definitely does apply.
Yes. And honestly, in today's time and age, nostalgia, whether it comes from movies, old pictures, or whatever else, that is something that helps build onto positive mental health.
Yeah. And we can all use that these days, all of us.
Yes.
Even those that have great lives could still use more positive mental health.
Yes.
All right, folks. Well, we'll see you next week. I hope you guys have a great weekend. No, week ahead. Sorry. And we will catch y'all next time. Remember, rage responsibly.
We're also available on Spotify. We said what we said, and we're just getting started. Thanks for listening. Now go rage responsibly. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you soon.